What's up, y'all? I'm finna make a video on Pro Tools basics. So, like if you just bought Pro Tools and want to know how to get started recording. So let's get to it. Okay, first thing you gonna do is open up Pro Tools. Got a window that's gonna pop up first time. If you already have plugins on your computer, it's probably gonna take longer to boot up, but after it boots up, it scans all your plugins. But once it scans it once, like that long process on the first time opening it up, it's gonna be a lot faster after that. Okay, this is the first window that's gonna pop up. It might pop up on recent if you tried to open it before and saved the session and messed up. But let's go right here where it says create. We're gonna name it Pro Tools. Let's name it let's see, Pro Tools Basic 1. These windows right here use local storage. Don't change none of that. Don't try to use a template like checking this and creating a new template. No, don't do that. Create from a template, because a lot of times they're going to create the tracks for you, and you don't want those tracks created because it's going to make it more complicated to try to understand what they created. So what we're going to do is create our own tracks from scratch. Next thing you want to check is like leave this the same, wave 24-bit, separate is 44.1. You could be 48. I would go with the 48 because I think everybody by standard wise they use it 48 on the sample rate. So location is another thing. That's the main key when you want to start when you're doing a Pro Tools session. So click this here, hit location. It's gonna open up a window. Now I'm on Mac, so all my hard drives over here. I'm gonna select my hard drive, which is T7. You can select any other ones and stuff that you like, but T7 is my SSD. Okay, hit open. That's the location. See, it shows your volume T7. Make sure it shows that volume that you selected. There. Then hit create. Once it creates, you're gonna get a blank screen like that. I think this is the mix windows. It says mix here, but I don't know why my went way up here. Yeah, since we named that song Pro Tools Basic, it might be the artist name and whatever song he's trying to do. First thing you're gonna do is import the track, and that's gonna be under file and import, and then under import go to audio, since we go most likely be importing a production that's already done. Most hip hoppers and R&B, and they have a stereo file already. So let's go to this audio and say you got from your buddy flash drive that he had and it's on this drive here, and you click on that and look for it and say, okay, that's the track. But some of these tracks YouTube downloads that they brought to studio sessions, so we're not gonna be using any of those. I'm gonna use probably one of my tracks that I made. Let me see. I think that's the most recent one. Okay, see how I selected it and it popped down to this window? And that's clips in the current file. That's the file that you clicked on. So that's the one I want to use. You hit convert. That's gonna put it over here. That's the part that needs to be in this window to import. If you don't put it in as a remove it and you hit open, it's not going to import any files until it's in this window. But what I usually like to do is the file that I like and I listen to it, I double click it and it puts it in both windows. And just hit open. It's going to open another window just showing you where it's going, but Pro Tools they got pretty good at putting it in the right areas. But back in the days, Pro Tools would just pick it in the last hard drive that you had selected. So now it creates its own folder when you create the session, and it creates an audio file folder within that folder of the session and creates and puts it directly in there. So don't mess with anything here and just hit open. Once it opens, it's going to ask you new track or clip list, in which I don't see my clip list. It's not open. Over here to the side is usually a clip list open. And that's, if you put clip list, that's where it's going to go over here, and then you have to drag it in. But you have to have tracks already created for it to work. But if you do new track, it'll create the track for you and put the audio files in. Since this is a stereo file, Pro Tools automatically recognize that it's a stereo file, so it creates a stereo track for you. So you hit OK, and it creates that stereo file. Matter of fact, I need to change to the mix, the edit window, which shows you there. That's why I didn't see the clips. This is the clips over here that I was talking about. It's up to the right. So it created a stereo track for me. The next step you want to do is go up here to track and hit new. Once you hit new, another window is going to pop up. It is create one new mono audio track, which is other stuff under here, but keep it under audio tracks. That's where I'm making a video on how to start your first recording and stuff in Pro Tools. So keep it on audio track, keep it in mono, don't do anything here. And you can name it if you want to, but we usually leave it audio track because it'll go audio 1, audio 2, audio 3, however many tracks you create. So right here it's highlighted and with a 1 on it. That's because you selected new track, but you can type, as long as it's highlighted, and type. I usually start off with 16 and stuff, and hit enter to create, or you can just select create. So it created 16 tracks underneath that stereo track. Okay, now that we have this created and the 16 tracks, now we got to create our inputs, which is your microphone that you're going to be recording into on top of the audio. So let's go to the mix window. You can change it up here by hitting window and going to mix window. Okay, if you're on Mac, hold down the option key. This input, if you want to just select mic 1 to have as your main mic coming in for each track. You can go down and do it this way and select each one. But if you hold down option before you select your mic, it will put it on all the tracks. But if you hold down option and command, it would do all your mics you have available in sequence. See how I did that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that. So, but what we want, since we're doing hip hop or R&B, we want all the same mic because I only have one booth and I don't have, he's not going to be singing or rapping on multiple mics. He's using the same mic. So that's pretty much how you set up your inputs. Outputs, keep it the same, whatever hardware you have, but if it does get off, choose it down here. But most of the time, whatever's available, it's going to be in yellow on the new Pro Tools. I don't know about the old Pro Tools, how they change it, but same thing, hold down option if you want them all to output through those same outputs, which is output 2. But if you wanted it consecutive, remember I said you could do that through what you call it, option command. And if you hit this one, it should do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, just like it just did. But since we're doing all these, I'm holding down command and it does it all the way down. But don't worry about your outputs, and that's only if you don't get any sound out of your monitors or to your headphones. So that's the basic setup on how to set up. You can arm this track, and I think most of the Pro Tools that you buy now come in and the settings are preset. They have it set up that's like a destructive record, where if you arm this track, you can't arm any other tracks. You can arm it, but it's going to disable the other track. So that helps, especially doing hip hop and stacking. You won't be able to accidentally record over another track unless you intentionally want to punch in, and we'll get into that part after I get to the edit screen. But right now, the track is armed. So I'm going to go back to the edit screen. Now we're going to go through the selection tool. I say start off using a line because it only lets you move around within where you want to place yourself within the recording. The next step is I'm gonna say this record button up here. You got play, record, stop, and rewind and forward and to the end of the song and the beginning of the song. Right click in this area, this will show you the different recordings. If you're recording hip hop or R&B or a solo singer or a solo rapper, stay in Quick Punch. And I'm gonna show you why Quick Punch is better for you, especially starting out. To record on here, they have like preset keys on the keyboard, which a lot of people go up to the transport window, which is this thing right here, and which is another window that you can hit up. I think it's one, where you create a floating transport window and have it up here. And most people hit that and then hit play and start recording. But the good thing about Pro Tools, they have a preset button. If you have a keyboard with a number pad on it, that's to the side over there, make sure your number pad light is on and you can actually put numbers in and it'll work. So if you hit the number 3 on a number pad, that automatically starts recording. If you hit the space bar, it automatically stops it and plays. That's play and stop on the space bar. So that's the only keys you really need to know when you're recording somebody. It's the space bar and the number 3 on the number pad. So say I started playing, he wanted to fix a part right up in here. He said he wanted to fix a part that said something like, I don't like you. Now you want to say you love, like you like him now. And so you started in the same spot from the top, let him hear that part of the and as soon as he gets to that spot where he said, I don't like you, you hit 3 and it's automatic on record. And you could take that right back out right after you say, I don't like you. See how I just recorded and went out, but those other words still stayed in. That's why I like Quick Punch. Quick Punch is your way to go when you want to record hip hop and R&B. Let's say you want to bounce out what you recorded. You mixed it down, played with the faders a little bit, and got it sounding like you want. Let's go to Bounce Mix. You hit Bounce Mix. This window is going to pop up. I don't know which Pro Tools you got, but I know my Pro Tools let me bounce out at MP3. Most of the people on social media, you want your file to be as small as possible. If you put it at WAV, that's going to be the largest file that's going to bounce out. So it might be too large to actually send to YouTube or Snapchat or TikTok or Instagram and upload it. So put it in MP3 if you have that selection. Because I remember the older Pro Tools, you have to actually pay for the MP3 upgrade. But in this part, leave the file format, enter leave. It's going to show MP3 right here at the same time. That's the name of the song. Your mix source, I wouldn't change it because as long as you can hear it within the session, most likely the mix source is going to be the same output that you have to be able to hear it while you was recording and playing back. Keep it in the sample rate that you started the session in. File format should be an interleave, not multiple mono, not mono sum. But if you're trying to promote this song and put it on CD or put it in social media, keep it in interleave. Keep it in the sample rate. Here is the same thing, like starting a session. You choose your directory where you want it to go. And another window, once you chose where it's supposed to go, they have a little checkbox down here for offline and online, which is just offline is offline. But once you uncheck it, it's going to play the song through and bounce it out. So I'm going to show you, like if I put it offline and hit bounce, it's going to pop up this window and you're going to have your meta information right here. So you hit OK. You see how it's however long the song is how long you're going to have to sit there to bounce it out. But if we go back, I escaped. I stopped that, went to their bounce. If I hit offline now and keep all that the same, like we said, chose our directory, and you hit bounce, metadata, same thing, hit OK, it started going. I'm going to cancel it so it don't actually bounce it out. But you saw how fast that was doing it. But it's not going to do it that fast if you have like multiple tracks recorded. Like if you have a lot more audio going on, like 2 verses stacked 3 times and a couple of hooks, it's going to be a little bit slower, but it's still going to be a lot faster than listening to the whole song bounce out. So that's one little bonus that I put in there that ain't got nothing to do with recording, but that's how to bounce out a file. And I guess that's about it. And thank y'all for listening. And I probably leave something like a contact. If y'all have any questions, or y'all contact me through whatever social platform I'm going to put this on. And if you want to contact me with other questions or give me ideas for other videos that you want to know something about, I'll make that video and put it out there. And I try to simplify it. Not simplify, but simplify is a new word that I just made up to make everything simple and getting started with Pro Tools. Thank y'all.